Hey everybody, today we have a graphic novel. I like comics and I like the Constitution. This is the United States Constitution, a graphic adaptation written by Jonathan Hensley and art by Aaron McConnell. Most of us can recall We the People. I can recall a lot more. Without trouble, maybe we can get far as in order to form a more perfect union. But how many of us truly know our Constitution? Probably not many of us. What principles and beliefs guided its authors? The Founding Fathers. Libertarian, conservative beliefs. That's what kind. How does a bill become a law? We have Congress that does that. Well, the United States Constitution, a graphic adaptation. It's hands down the easiest, most entertaining. Maybe it is. We'll check it out. Most memorable introduction to America's founding document. Taking us from the Founding Fathers to the Freedom Riders, from the preamble to the 27th Amendment. This is the United States Constitution for anyone and everyone. A 10-year veteran of the film and television production industry, Jonathan Hensley is a writer living in Los Angeles. Aaron McConnell is a freelance illustrator living in Oregon. Los Angeles and Oregon. Aren't those blue states? Cover design by Jennifer Curl. Cover art by Aaron McConnell. Hill and Wang, a diversion of Far East Status and Grits, www.fsgbooks.com. American History, graphic novel. Let's see if they got it right. Let's check it out. Later videos, I might actually explain the Constitution to people, because apparently a lot of people don't quite grasp it or understand it, and I may get a... This is just a graphic novel about it. I might actually get an actual copy from the history book. I have it on my phone. There's apps. You can actually download the app. I'm just going to flip through this. We the people. And this is pretty neat little thing. I'm just going to flip through it. Y'all can pause it and actually read it yourselves. But one of these days, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get I'm going to get one of my history textbooks that has the actual Constitution in it. And I will read it, and I will do a video of I will do a video of me reading it, and I will do a video of me reading it, and then I will do a video of every small article and the explanation of what that actually means. Because I'm intelligent to know what it means, and I believe the Constitution means what it says, and says what it means. Its interpretation should be direct interpretation of what it says, not what people believe it says. Now, I apologize for the glare. Let me see if I can fix that. Article 1. I like how they use this. Typical liberals. I like how they use this evolution chart of evolution to explain how a bill becomes a law. Wow. That's funny. Liberals. So, since I'm kind of a libertarian and a constitutionalist and a conservative myself, this is this comic book interpretation maybe written more from a Democrat, liberal interpretation of what the Constitution means. So I'm not 100% saying that this book is correct or 100% saying it's incorrect. I'm just saying you and I might disagree with some of the interpretations that they display in this particular adaptation of it. We might disagree. I might disagree with some of the things in here. You might disagree with some of the things in here. So, matter of fact, Democrats who read this might disagree with some of the things in here. They might consider it too conservative or too Republican-ish. While Republicans who read this might disagree with some of the things it says because they might declare it's too liberal or too democratic-ish written. The people who did this are not constitutional scholars. They don't have law degrees. They just took what they believed the Constitution meant by each type of by reading it, and then they tried to put it in a comic book form. So I have a tendency to have more trust in someone who doesn't have a law degree, who doesn't go to college to learn this stuff, and who actually will just sit down and read it and think about it and ponder it and study it and then be like, well, debate it within their own self and then be like, I think it means this. Look up the words. Look up the definitions of the words. And pretty much do all that. Then do a little bit of history about the particular founding fathers. Don't go to college for history classes. Actually just, study it on their own free time. Their own time. It's how I do when I'm talking about history and government and constitution and laws and rights. I think we have too many laws. Here's the Bill of Rights, by the way. First Amendment. These are what most people talk about. We have all this other part of the Constitution, but most people won't always want to talk about my rights, my view, and mostly the first 10, which are the Bill of Rights. Sometimes they throw out other ones. Then there's the Second Amendment, which is a really big topic between everybody. Everybody's like, the Second Amendment. There's the Third Amendment. And the Fourth Amendment. Please stay up. Sorry about that, people. There's the Fifth Amendment. The Fifth Amendment, that's the one about, Stay up! And glare, get out of the dang picture. Having a hard time with glare. If y'all can't read this, I'm sorry. Maybe you can pause it and read it. Like I said, I'll probably read the whole entire Constitution one day. Do a video of me reading the Constitution. Seventh Amendment. Hard to hold this book steady. There's the Eighth Amendment. Here's the 11th through 27th Amendments. Reconstruction Amendments. 13 through 15. Think I'm it. Having a hard time with this book and not wanting to stay still and not getting glare in it. I don't know why they have to make these books where they get glare. But almost done, guys. So hold on. Maybe I should do it this way to start with. I don't know. Most of y'all probably aren't interested in the Constitution, but y'all should be because it's very important. It's very important that you know your civil rights and your civil liberties and what the government is allowed to do and not do. I don't care what side of the aisle you are, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, Constitutionalist, Libertarian, whatever. Green Party, Socialist, Communist, whatever you believe in. Here's some more recommended readings. And that was it. That was the Constitution of the United States of America, a graphic novel adaptation of it. Remember, everybody, that God is good all the time and that Jesus loves you, and that you should definitely go out and vote every chance you get, and you should definitely study your history, study your rights, study your civil liberties, study your civil laws, study your Constitution, debate it amongst yourself, you and your peers and your colleagues and your friends, and decide what y'all think it means to one another. Because you should know what the government is and is not allowed to do to you and to your fellow Americans. You should be patriotic, and the best place to start being patriotic is at the Founding Fathers' original words, their original documents, their original stuff that they created for you. They created this. They formed a new nation against an oppressive, tyrannical former nation. They fought a war. They created the Articles of Confederation before this. And it gave the states a lot of power. It gave the states so much power that the federal government had literally no power whatsoever. So, even the states and the people from the states understood that it wasn't working. No government could run as a confederacy, which is what our original 13 colonies decided they were wanting to be at first. So they then decided to create a republican form of government, a republic, one where the people elect the politicians who then represent the people. America is not a democracy. It's not a democracy where, okay, 51% of the people say we cannot do this, so the other 49% of the people have to agree. It's not a democracy. It's not a direct democracy. It's not any of that. It's a republican form of government where we elect people, politicians, to represent the people, where we have rights that the government and the laws and the politicians are not allowed to take away from us. That's why we have the Bill of Rights, and that's why we have all those additional amendments to the Constitution that grant rights, such as voting, such as non-discrimination against women when voting, such as non-discrimination against race when voting, such as the really retarded one where they got rid of alcohol, prohibition, and then they realized that didn't work, so they went back in like 2 amendments later and was like, this ain't working, so we're going to legalize alcohol again. Well, you know why they legalized alcohol? They legalized alcohol for the same reason that the same problem we have with the war on drugs now. It costs too much money to enforce, and it makes it even harder to enforce, and more people want to do what is illegal than they do when it's illegal than it is legal. So maybe we should have a constitutional amendment to legalize marijuana. Just saying. I mean, the war on drugs is exactly the same problem we had with prohibition. They realized it didn't work, so they repealed it. Haven't they learned that the war on drugs isn't working? So it's about time to repeal that war. Stop it. Just a thought. Anyway, you, the people, need to know what the government is and is not allowed to do. And that's where the supreme highest law in the land comes from, the United States Constitution. This is the highest law of the land. Any law that exists on the books that is against this is a violation of the Constitution and is an unconstitutional, illegal law. Whether you agree with it or not, that's not the point. So, people study the Constitution, learn what it means, agree with what it means, and support what it means, and tell your government when they're wrong. And don't vote for politicians that are anti-constitutionalist. Don't vote for politicians that that don't believe what the Constitution says. Don't vote for people who don't even understand the Constitution, that ain't even read the Constitution. Vote for constitutional candidates. Vote for the Constitution is actually very, very pro-libertarian. It gives states rights. It wants the people to have rights. It wants a small government. It wants a powerful government, yes, but a very small government. Powerful, yet small government. But the government that we understand from the Constitution is more government that helps the people out, not the politicians, not the police, not the government, not the corporations. The Constitution is more pro-people by giving them rights. But with great rights comes great responsibilities. So be a great citizen and obey the Constitution. And support those who do. And if you want real change, the Constitution even grants a way to change the Constitution. So, if you think about it, the Constitution is a document that can be changed. But we need to change it the legal way, the way it's meant to be changed. Not just because someone says, I don't like this rule, or I don't like that rule, or whatever. They need to be strict interpretation as the Founding Fathers wrote it. From the perspective of the Founding Fathers is how we need to interpret the Constitution. Then place it in a modern day perspective. Because technology changes, rights don't. Because if we allow for the misinterpretation and misappropriation of the government, it will become just as tyrannical, which it already has, as the government that our Founding Fathers fought a war over, fought independence over, had liberty over, to get rid of, and then created this to make sure it never happened again. If the Founding Fathers were around today, they've probably been rolling over their graves so many times they don't know whether their head's on the top or the bottom now. If the Founding Fathers had a time machine and they jumped to today's time machine thing, they would be looking at us Americans like we were crazy, like we were retarded, like we were stupid, and they'd be like, why are you letting the government do this to you? They'd be like, why are you arguing over some retarded, stupid stuff? They're like, be like, why in the world don't y'all obey the Constitution anymore? They'd be like looking at people like, huh, what? Anyway, just saying. So, that's my little rant and rave on the Constitution and on this book. And I hope everybody has a great, wonderful, amazing day.